Hello, my name is acbtheman, and I am back, and welcome to Radio Epic, episode 14, and tonight we have David Allen 353 and PhD Shenanigans. So, David, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Glad I can be back on the podcast. And, Doc, what's up?
Oh, not too much. Just hanging out. How about you?
Doing about the same. Actually playing some Destiny 1, and it feels kind of weird to go back to it. You go to it and it feels okay, but you're like, I just played the Destiny 2 beta like a week and a half ago. And by the way, y'all had a fantastic podcast last week. Thank you. B. Nelly can't make it on the podcast tonight, but I want to thank him as well. And just thank you guys for making that a good podcast last week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good. Well, anyways, so there's not a lot of information that has come out this week, but first up, we have the PC beta has actually been announced. It's only going to be 3 days. It's August 28th to the 31st. If you pre-ordered, you get early access on the 28th. Open beta is 29th, and it closes 31st. Actually, excuse me, that's like 4 days. My bad. But anyways, it's a little bit shorter, and they've given you the recommended specs on PCs and stuff, and the minimum you have to have for to play the game. I haven't really looked at them because I'm not going to play it, but they're on This Week at Bungie. So do you guys think that it's going to be the same beta, or is it going to be slightly different? What do you guys think about, are y'all going to play it, or is it just some bit of news you've heard?
I'm not going to play it myself. I haven't already done the console beta, but I think they'll keep it the same. Well, I don't think we'll see any changes in it.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be almost identical to the console beta. I'm not going to play it because I am going to be busy those few days. Although I was surprised at how low the recommended specs were. Because, the recommended processor is a 5-year-old processor. The minimum is older than that. Well, it's newer, but it's a weaker processor anyway.
Honestly, the only thing looking here through the specs, the only thing that my laptop would not be able to do is the 6 gigs of RAM. I have 4 gigs of RAM on my laptop, but everything else looks like I have the correct GPU and CPU. So that's actually very good that it can run on low tech. So if you are planning on getting it on the PC, that's awesome. Speaking of the beta, I didn't get a chance to rant last week, and so I'm going to rant a little bit later in the podcast, and you'll hear that. But so I guess that's good news. We know that the PC version, it's not a port, but the PC version is coming out a little bit later, and so I'm glad that they actually get a beta to test it and see what it feels like, because it's definitely going to be different if you're used to console. Different feeling, I guess, because I really don't play a lot of mouse and keyboard games. So, next bit of news, we have a pre-order bonus of an exotic weapon. It is the Cold Heart Exotic. It is an energy weapon. It's a beam rifle. You fire it, it fires a continuous arc beam. They say it's good for single precision damage. Guys, is this okay? Is this a good idea? Should they be doing this?
I personally don't think it's a great idea. I mean, I don't really understand why they're doing it. Because most people who were going to pre-order have already pre-ordered. Like, you just had the beta, and so if you were going to pre-order, you pretty much made that decision. So I don't know who they're really trying to get extra to pre-order with it. And on top of that, it's just going to annoy the people who maybe they weren't following the beta and all the development and didn't pre-order, and then buy Destiny 2 a week into its life, and now they're locked out of getting an exotic weapon for a couple months just because they didn't pre-order.
Which honestly looks like it's going to be awesome. From the description and from the little bit of footage we see, looks like it's going to be an exotic worth having.
Right, and like the Galahorn was, obviously it's worth having, but there was basically just a skin that they gave you. Like the Iron Galahorn and the regular Galahorn that you got through the game were identical, and it's fine. So it remains to be seen if they're going to be basically a Hot Heart version that does basically the same thing in the game that you can get it.
I doubt it, especially since they said it's going to be exclusive until like December 5th or whatever. Plus there was that ghost, the kill tracker ghost, which allows you to view your kills in game. That's weird to me. It's nice to have, but that shouldn't be a pre-order bonus to me. Anyways, the one thing that I'm really liking about this, they say, yeah, it's a pre-order bonus. It's something that's going to be exclusive. Unless you have pre-ordered, you're not going to get this. But the game launches in September. In December, we have access to it, or you have access to it if you didn't pre-order it. You'll be able to get it in-game. Bungie, that is how you should do all exclusives. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Other than that, yeah, maybe not the best idea, but it will get a few people, we'll get more people buying it, and so that's how they're going to drag in some people who may have be on the fence about getting Destiny 2 or pre-ordering it. All right, so moving down, this last week, and so when this podcast comes up, it's probably done. No more Trials of Osiris for the record book. Iron Banner next week is the last Iron Banner you have for the record book itself, and it's the last Iron Banner of Destiny 1. So Iron Banner is coming back, guys. It's Control. Are y'all excited? Are y'all kind of meh at this point? What are your kind of thoughts on that Iron Banner?
Probably just play it for nostalgia's sake. Getting one last Iron Banner in, but I don't know. I'm not really that excited for it, I guess.
But it's Control, man.
The classic.
I mean, it's my favorite game mode for Iron Banner, but at the same time, I mean, I've done a lot of Iron Banners. I've been rank 5 a couple dozen times. Don't need to keep doing that.
It depends on what they do, because they haven't shown us the armor and haven't shown us the weapons. So maybe, this is just spitballing, maybe they'll allow us to have all of the weapons available or all the weapons droppable. I know we can get the weapons through the packages, but maybe all of them are up for in the loot pool. Maybe all of them are at the vendor. I don't know. Looks like they're going to do something cool with it. At the end of the last Iron Banner, something's going to be cool with the things we can get, but I mean, it's the last Iron Banner. Who knows if we'll have Iron Banner in Destiny 2, if it'll be the same thing and we call it something different. I mean, I'm going to play it a ton just because it's literally the last one, but so y'all guys are just saying it's there, but we're kind of done with it. We're almost at Destiny 2.
Yeah, I'm still just I'm too hyped up for Destiny 2 that it's just not as flashy to me as it once was.
Yeah, I've been grinding out the last couple things I need to do for my books and my remorse score, and just kind of getting a little tired of Destiny 1 because I've done all the things that I've been putting off for 2 or 3 years, and I finally bothered.
The really funny thing to me is I've done pretty much everything I want to do for the record book, everything I want to do for Destiny, and I'm still coming back and playing it like twice a week. I'm just super excited for Destiny 2, so there's some cool things to do. If you want some nostalgia, or if you want to play a game mode that's not going to be there anymore in our current Destiny 1 game, Iron Banner's next week. We can all have some fun. Hopefully a ton of people will play, so there's not the lag experience of year 1. And hopefully we can have a good time and get some decent loot before we move on to the next game. Well, I think that's about it, guys, for anything that was on this week at Bungie. By the way, saying about 10 minutes into this, we're going to have a short podcast. Oh, well, sorry. We've got some more information about clans. If you are not in a Clan Epic clan and you have your own clan, please go look at reserving your name, reserving your clan for Destiny 2. There are some things happening with the clans as they migrate to Destiny 2. We here, the moderators at Clan Epic, are working on getting all of our clans ready for Destiny 2 itself. But if you are a member of a clan or the leader of a clan who is not part of our Clan Epic stuff, please go give it a look. It's essentially saying you have to tell Bungie you want to keep your clan going. And so that's about it, guys. Any words you want to say on clans going into Destiny 2, or y'all just excited to be part of one, or what?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting what they're doing. I think it seems like they're trying to really revamp the clan experience, whereas right now, other than the achievement and the different column in your roster, being in a clan or not doesn't change that much. but it seems like they're trying to do a lot more. But at the same time, they're changing the structure where clans are no longer tied to groups. And so, like with Epic, our main group has a few hundred members, but the clan's full. So we'll have to figure out.
Speaking of that, that's going to be real easy. Speaking of that, with groups, if you're in a group that converts to a Destiny 2 clan, every member who is not a clan member, who's not have the in-game clan tag, will be dropped upon converting to a Destiny 2 clan. So for everyone who's part of the, for example, the first clan, Epic clan, just Epic, everyone who is in the Everyday Player in Combat clan who is not a clanmate but just a member will be dropped. But if you're in one of the other Epic clans, you will be put into those. Now, there's a little bit of tough stuff with there because in Destiny 1 there were affiliations where you could go to the Clan Epic page and click on a link and go to the next Clan Epic one. We have a home outside of Bungie.net. We use Slack and we use the 100 site, or 100.io site, excuse me. And so we have places outside, so it's not really going to affect us that much. But those groups that have like 110, 120 members, and not everybody is part of their clan, they need to reach out, let their members know, and figure that situation out. Here at Clan Epic, we're not. We have some things in place, especially because we have the outside stuff. But it is very interesting that they're not going to have groups. I'm wondering if that is easier for them to keep up with the clan rewards. Maybe the clan rewards would be given to group members that weren't part of the clan. I don't know. But it's just something to think about. It's not. It's really not that confusing. Just go read the blog, and if you are having issues, they have people at Bungie that will specifically respond to you about just the clan stuff. So
yeah, for Clan Epic, it doesn't seem like it's going to cause too much of a hassle. It's just a matter of bookkeeping. But I feel bad for the few clans that really use the social features on Bungie.net that maybe they coordinate to clans each with like 80, 90 members in it, and now they're just not going to be linked together anymore.
well, I mean, you can still go to the other clans and stuff, but yeah, you won't. You will lose that affiliation. It's not terrible. And there are other sites, like I said, like we use Slack, we use Discord. Some of us use Discord, the 100.al. So there are other sites where you can go to if you're a slightly bigger clan and need that. But I mean, it's exciting that we're going to actually be able to get rewards for just being a part of the clan in Destiny 2. Plus, we have the clan ability to pull a random in and say, hey, we want to help you, and that random wants to be helped, like the guided games. So, I mean, it's going to be fun to be part of a clan, so even more fun. Well, as we come to pretty much, that's about it with the this week at Bungie, but as we come to pretty much where we're getting ready to end already, honestly. What was I going to say? Oh, some story news came out this week. And while we're getting a ton of new story, we're going to learn all about our Vanguard mentors. We're going to have a very specific story about how we've lost our light and we've either regained it or we've got something else. And we're trying to figure out how to save the Traveler from the Cabal and this and that. Bungie had a sort of ask them anything about Destiny 2, and they picked specific questions and answered them. One of the questions was, will your Guardian talk in Destiny 2? And their answer is no. It was a short and simple answer, and pretty much the reasoning behind it is because everyone's Guardian is different. They didn't want to pigeonhole you with one voice or another. But our Guardians are not going to say anything at all in Destiny 2. Is that a mistake or is that a good choice because everyone's Guardian looks different and is different and has a different backstory made up by each character? By each individual person, excuse me.
I think it's a valid reason, personally. I would kind of prefer it. I will admit that the only reason I have a male EXO character is specifically because I did like his voice. But most of the time, in my mind, I'm responding to, the dialogue coming at you from various characters in game in my own way anyways. And I'd rather do that myself than have like a character response and then be like, oh, I was going to say something entirely different to that line.
Right. And I see I think that's Bungie's logic for doing that, but at the same time, it sometimes feels like it takes away our agency. Like we literally we lose our voice. So we are given orders and we're told what to do and we're given advice and we don't have a choice in what we're doing. It's not like we see our character we don't have the Vanguard's just giving us orders and our character doesn't have its own personality. It's just an automaton. And I know what they're trying to do and make the player feel more feel that they're more involved, but at the same time, there is the fact that this is a video game. Our character is an avatar for ourselves. And it's just, we're now a slave to the Vanguard rather than actually making our own decisions and being involved. It's like, in action movies, often you want to see the protagonist have kind of a blank expression so the viewer can put themselves in the place of protagonist, but you don't have a truly silent protagonist. They still have their own agency and their own motivation. And it's a matter of whether...
Well, to be fair, my Exo Titan was made right before the rise, or maybe right in the middle of the rise of the technology. My Exo Titan was made by a father and his son, and the son was created the Exo with the father because the father was dying and wanted to put a piece of the father into the Exo so we would have this friend with the mind and the personality of his dad, so he would be reminded of his dad. Now, that's me. That's the motivation behind my character. I don't know why, but halfway through year one, when I heard how Exos sort of were made and how they function, that's what I thought. Now, if I go to a scene and the scene talks to me and the Exo male voice sounds sort of young. The Exo male voice I picture that my Guardian has is a lot older, is sort of like almost a grandpa age because the son wanted to retain a part of his father in there. That's my backstory. Very convoluted, very, very specific. That's how I envision my Titan. I can see both ways. It's kind of weird if I hear a voice that's not in line with my character, but I would like to see something said. In the vanilla Destiny 1 story, there were like 2 or 3 lines they said, and while the voice may not have matched up, it was cool to hear the character you're playing have some sort of interaction. But from everything we've heard, hopefully the NPCs and everyone we're interacting with that's not us will allow us to be immersed as much as if our character had dialogue themselves. And the other way they could really do that, honestly, is if they went to like an EA BioWare type of situation where they had all of these different dialogue choices for each section. And I think what they want is they want a more linear story, and that would have branching implications and all this and that they don't want to have in there, especially because we're arguing that there's not a lot of story, and if we have these branching stuff, everyone's going to have a different story. So, I don't know. It's 6 in one, half dozen the other. Both have valid points, and both, and they've chosen to go with the not talking at all. So
I was just going to bring up what you mentioned about the BioWare style of dialogue options and all that too, and picking your character's voice and everything. I think that's what I would have liked to have seen if they had implemented a voice for your character.
It would be nice, but when they're trying to have a unified lore and have a unified story, especially after Destiny 1, where one of the biggest complaints was the lack of story, they want to say, hey, this is a story, you're all going to have the same one, here's your lore. And if they had different kind of ones, different responses, then we have slightly different lore. And I know that all the BioWare stuff, it works. With the Mass Effect series, with the Inquisition series, and different games they have, it works. And each person can have their own tailored experience. But they're wanting to say everyone's going to have a unified experience. So, would I like them to talk? Yeah, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Absolutely so. All right, before we move on to probably the last section, which is my rant section, I listened to the podcast last week and heard some of your thoughts on this just a little bit. But what are your thoughts on all the negativity, specifically coming from players who loved Destiny 1? They loved Destiny 1, put 2,000, 3,000 hours in, and then now they've done a complete 180 on Destiny 2 and are like just absolutely just crapping on it.
I mean, I think one of the issues that some players have, particularly with just switching straight from Destiny 1 to the beta, is they put a lot of time in mastering their skills and building up muscle memory for Destiny 1. And so when their characters doesn't jump like they think they do, or if they don't land their shots because they push their controller a little too hard or too soft, just because it's slightly different, they view it as, I've built up this mastery, I've built up the muscle memory, and my shots aren't going where they're supposed to be going. And so I think a lot of the negativity is just the game doesn't feel right to them.
The game being too different?
Not just too different, but very similar enough where most of the time you don't feel the differences, but in the split seconds when you rely entirely on muscle memory and you're swinging your sniper rifle and trying to get that last snipe off, and it just feels wrong for some reason, you think, oh, maybe it just feels like the game's wrong. And I felt myself experiencing it too. Like, when I'm jumping and shooting my hand cannon, my shots weren't going where they're supposed to be, and I'm like, I should have hit this shot. In Destiny 1, this would have hit a shot. Why is it not working now? And the answer is because, well, it's a different game. And I think people are feeling that it's different, it's not working for me, I don't like how it feels because I'm so used to Destiny 1 that feels right to me. Anything else feels wrong.
Well, see, I guess what I'm getting at is you, and I've ranted about this before, I guess, you have a unified, reasonable, well thought out argument. And another question I have, do you see Destiny's community as mostly positive, ignoring the beta hate? Do you see Destiny's community as mostly positive or mostly negative?
Depending on where it is. If it's...
In general, I think about it. I guess the community of, the community leaders with the Twitch streamers and the YouTubers and everyone who reaches out as a community leader, I guess.
Yeah, I would say the community leaders are positive. Reddit is generally positive in comments. Just ignore the forums. And trial streamers get a little intense.
Trial streamers can get intense, but that's just... Trials is intense anyways. But I guess what I'm saying is, I heard the biggest thing that I had is I heard a lot of people that they hated the beta, and they are welcome to voice their opinions. It's the internet, whatever. But they were like, this is Destiny 1.5, or this is too different, or this just sucks. Why would Bungie kill such a good game? And just like stuff along that line, very, very, very bad. And whatever, that's fine. People can hate on it. But then I heard a popular YouTuber who follows other games besides Destiny, but focuses a lot on Destiny, and I forgot their name, and honestly, I don't even want to give them the time of day by mentioning their name. But there was a popular YouTuber whose sentiment was, I really hate the beta. I really hate what they're going to do. The beta is indicative of the final game, so it's going to suck. I really wish Bungie crashes and burns, but I'm going to give them the $60 anyway so I can be a viewer, an audience member for that crash and burn. I don't know where that came out. That came out of left field. When March happened, and when March happened, the March update, and they broke some things, and they took away our special ammo when we died, there was a big uproar. But there wasn't it's going to crash and burn, let me watch it. But with this beta, I guess because it's so different, it's not what people were expecting. There's a lot of that same sentiment of, yeah, I'm going to buy the game, but I'm absolutely hating it right now, and I would like to sit back and watch it burn. And I don't know where that has come from. And I actually made a video, I think it actually came out this morning, but I made a video where I just straight up said, if you really hate the beta that much, don't buy it. Stay away from Destiny 2. We're a positive community led by positive community outreachers, and I'm trying to be positive, and we try to be positive here on the podcast, and it's very hard to when a ton of people are like, yeah, Bungie sucks, let's watch it crash and burn. And I've never had that sentiment before, and that is very odd to me. That sentiment that generally, honestly, is reserved by Call of Duty or Battlefield or something. For example, in Call of Duty, they changed the reload speed of a sniper rifle by like 0.1 seconds. And the developers were getting death threats because of it, because of stuff like that. We're not at the stage of death threats, but we're sort of at that stage of hatred and wanting to watch it burn. I've never heard that before. And I want those people to stay away. Honestly, I do. I want Destiny 2 to succeed. But if people hate it that much and want to crash and burn, they just need to not be there. And that was the oddest thing that came out of the beta for me. Yes, I had a lot of complaints and concerns, and yes, honestly, I'm a Bungie lover, and I have loved the betas I've played, Halo 3, Halo Reach, stuff like that. The Destiny 1 beta, it seems very odd to me that kind of sentiment is coming out now, instead of it's beyond negative. We have had negative times in the past, but it's beyond negative, and that it's very odd to me. I guess Destiny's not really experienced that, and it's jarring.
Right. Yeah, that is a very interesting sentiment that this game is terrible. The beta's terrible. The game's going to be terrible. I'm still going to give them my money and buy it. But you should just... yeah, I agree. I don't understand I don't think I'll enjoy this. It's not going to be fun for me. I'm still going to buy it. I think it was Luke Smith in an interview. Luke Smith from Bungie said, yeah, play other games, have fun. If you're not enjoying Destiny anymore, if you feel like we don't have enough content, you can play other games. Like, Bungie's not offended if you go play another game. And it kind of reminds me of a joke in one of Bo Burnham's skits where he's like, yeah, some celebrities like, my fans, they stick through me through thick and thin. He's like, don't stick through me through thick. Like, if I'm not entertaining you, go somewhere else. Like, if you know you're not going to enjoy the game, don't buy it. I don't think Bungie is upset by a former Destiny 1 fan saying, I tried the beta, I didn't enjoy it, I'm not going to get it.
Well, it's not just that. It's a sentiment of people like wanting it to fail. That's weird to me. I guess we're just new to that. But anyway, sorry I interrupted.
I was going to mention that it's just, it's schadenfreude. It's people just wanting to watch the world burn. Which, yeah, it's sometimes entertaining to watch and listen to, but you don't actively root for it.
Well, the problem is Destiny 2 is going to be a success. Whether or not it's a smaller success than Destiny 1, with the new platform of PC, and with all the people who thoroughly enjoyed the beta and want to see how they implement changes, it's going to be a success. So those people aren't going to have fun no matter what. So, I don't know. I guess that's the end of that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the community grows onto PC, because, PC, whether it's deserved or not, has somewhat of a reputation of being elitist and a bit less kindly than other sections.
We do have some of our community leaders moving over there, so we have some people that are going to be ambassadors to the PC side, so I think that'll help. And then we have the big mega clans like Epic, who are going to still be ambassadors of goodwill and positivity for the game. I mean, heck, in order to be part of Epic, you literally just have to be a nice person. You don't necessarily have to be nice all the time. You don't necessarily have to have a positive attitude about the game. Just be a nice person and be nice to others. And so we have leaders that are going to do that. So I have no doubt that the PC is going to thrive and be positive. I have no doubt that the Xbox and the PlayStation sides are going to thrive and continue to be positive. It's just weird that we have this big surge of negativity beforehand. But anyways, Destiny 2 is going to be awesome. Hopefully we get a little bit more information before it comes out, because I'm just ready to eat up every bit of information I can about the game. Guys, you have anything else to say before we kind of end the podcast tonight?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, guys. Well, sorry it's a short podcast. There really wasn't a lot to go out there except a couple different things that IGN put out, and we will look a little bit more in depth at those next week. So if you would like to join Clan Epic, you can go to the100.com/groups/1412, or go to the100.com, search the group Everyday Player in Combat or Epic. all the information's on the front of there, but literally just be 18 plus, be 18 plus and be a pretty decent.
And it's the100.io.
Yes. Sorry. the100.io/groups/1412. Excuse me. I always get that mixed up.